Hi guys, in today's review we'll be on a new tooled rolling stock from Hornby. And this new rolling stock from Hornby was announced beginning of 2025 in January announcements, and it arrived to us in December 2025. And the rolling stock in question is the Tavern set, or to give it its official name, BR Kitchen and Buttery Car and Composite Restaurant. And it's in the blood and custard, as I want to call it, with a brickwork on the Tavern. These are Era 4. Like I said, they came out in December 2025. They were announced in January 2025. The code for this set are 40470. They can do second radius. And people that know me know I like restaurant cars and full brakes. So this being a restaurant car, I was more than interested in it. And it is I think an Oliver Bullet design, but these are in its BR condition. So that all being said, let's get into the review and see what it's all about, shall we? So there is no detail bags with these coaches, but I'm going to talk about the box because it's a nice looking box. So on the front you have a picture of the pub sign or tavern sign and the two coaches in delivery with the Hornby branding. On top of this double box we also have the White Horse sign, again with the Hornby sign, and Tavern Cars one collection. Maybe they might be doing others at some point. Then on the underneath it tells you about the age, no one younger than 14. Then on the back you get some real pictures in black and white, and you also get a little bit of information on these. I've read somewhere that Hornby have hinted that they might do other regions sets, and it says thanks to Mike King for support and contribution with the project. And then if you look at the side of the two boxes, you get the Hornby sign and you also get the Tavern logo or sign. And all of the coaches come in a pale skin colour with a Indian red background, and they also have see-through packaging for the coaches. So as we move on to what I want to say is the front and the back of these coaches, just because of the couplings. So yes, we do have oval metal sprung buffers on the outside of the coach as it was, and they are quite stiff, these buffers. Some of mine have actually stuck, which is not an issue because they're pointless in double O. We also have tiny steps at the bottom as well. We have the coupling already applied from the factory for the outside into a standard NEM pocket. The ones that are on the inside that meet, they are magnets, which I'll get into in a minute. On the buff beam itself, I believe we have a few rivets dotted around. There's also a black hook. The buff beam and shanks themselves are black. You can just see the hook just below the corridor connection there, and I think there's a few supports dotted around underneath. As we move on up, as you can tell, it's all in black on the front. We do have the corridor connection. Again, if you look closely inside there, you can see a handle in the door. On one side we have the writing with a separately applied handrail and a lamp iron. There's also some moulded on stuff there too. On the other side, you have more moulded on stuff. You also have another separately applied handrail as well. And I think you have 4 steps, I think, apart the moulding going up. And then when you get to the top, you have, depending on which coach it is, you have a small handrail or 2 big handrails. So as we move to the middle of the coaches, this is where it gets a little bit different. So as you can notice down below, there is no buffers at all on both coaches, but we do have a magnetic coupling. And when you put these two together, they are really close together. That explains why there's no buffers, and I think that is correct with the actual coaches in real life. But all the detail that you see is basically the same. So we do have the buffer beams, we know buffers are now in black. I think there's a hook as well there. And if we move up, we have the door, some steps, a few grab iron and a few more on stuff. But the only difference is in the middle they have no buffers. Now we move on to the sides of the coaches. Let's start with this restaurant car. So these differences to this and the tavern car on the side. So if you go around the other side, it has one less window at the end, so it has 2 doors, and then on this side it's got 2 doors and a window. That's just got 2 doors with the same amount of top windows, which is 7. There is detail underneath, which I will bring up after I've shown the sides off, because I managed to get the shelves off. So we do have flush glazing. Some of the glazing does, like the doors do curve in a little bit. We also have separately applied handrails to the doors as well. Delivery is in the blood and custard. We have the restaurant name on the side, crisply printed. We even have steps for the doors as well. We also have a running number on one side of the coach. S7833, if I got that correct. And I think there's a number 1 on one of the doors as well. Most of the detail for this coach, like I said, is inside. It's quite amazing what it is. And we also have lighting too. Underneath, we have 2 different style bogies by the looks of it. The ones that are nearest the NEM coupler, they have an extra, I think, shoe on, but the other ones don't. We also have some axles and springs on both. I think we have spacers too. Underneath we have some supports and some electrical boxes with some other stuff which I'll show in a minute. So now we move on to the kitchen and buttery car, or the Tavern car, if I got my facts correct. Like I said before, there is differences on the sides of the coaches, more on this one than the restaurant one. So I'll get into these now. So if we start where the kitchen area is, where it's a normal style livery, we have 3 of the big windows and 2 of the small windows where the doors are. That is the difference there. And if we move to where the pub is, where the fake brickwork is, so we don't have a door, but we also have an extra small window at the top with the little crisscrosses. That's the only difference I can see. I am no expert. So I'm going to break this coach down as it was. I'm going to do it half and half. So the pub half, which has the brickwork and the wood effect on the outside. So on that we have a door, we have 2 small windows with lots of crisscrosses inside. Again, all the windows are flush fitted and it's a bar inside, which I'll go into in a minute. We have the wonderful printed pub sign. It's legible, you can read what it says on it. The brickwork does look a bit unusual, but I quite like it, so it reminds me of an episode of Top Gear. And then we have a wooden door as well. And if we move over to where I believe the kitchen area is in the coach, we have 3 smaller windows and a big window, then we have another smaller window at the end. The livery of both halves is blood and custard. When you get to the small windows, the body itself curves in just a little bit. We also have separate plied handrails as well, which is another great touch. And we also have a few footboards on the bottom as well of the doors. Again, most of the detail is inside the coach, which is great. So as we move down a bit, we've got the usual wheel arrangement that we had on the other coach. So the one that's nearest the NEM pocket should have a separate board on the wheels, but sadly one of mine fell off and it's a bit hard to get back on, but there is one around the other side. I believe these are a bullet design wheels, if I have my facts correct. We also have some supports and lots of cylinders under there, which I'll get into in a minute. Again, it's all in black, and then we have where the normal part of the coach is, or the kitchen part of the coach is. We have a wheel where I think both set of bogies have got spacers on, but I'm unsure because I'm not an expert. They don't have the boards, they just have nothing, and all the wheels are metal. If I've missed anything, I do apologise. So now on to the inside of the coaches. These coaches, you can take the bodies off and it's pretty easy. It's roughly 6 clips, 3 either side for both coaches. So this one is the pub one. As you can tell, we have quite a lot of detail. We also have 2 light bars, which I'll go into later on as well. As you can see, we have a silver shutter, which is nice, and you can see it through the windows. But I thought this way you get a better look at some of the detail. It is brown. I think it's a wood effect going on. You can see the bar and some seating. If you look closely enough, you can see some wiring as well for the light, like I've said. And I think there's a window too, just past the shutter. And if I turn it around, here you can see some more inside detail. I think the area we're looking at is behind the bar, so we're looking over the bar. And if you look to the side, you can see, I think that is the kitchen, and it's fantastically done. There's stuff there that's silver, I think it's meant to be a range and a cooker and a fridge, and there's a few other stuff. Like I said, we do have them seatings as well near the bar. Overall, it's not too bad. There is quite a lot of detail, but something you're not going to see when it's going around because of the windows, but at least the Hornby have gone to the trouble. So let's move on to the restaurant coach. So this one here is the composite restaurant coach. And as you can tell again, Hornby have gone to a lot of trouble with the detail, especially with this coach from the outside having the high windows. It looks like it's in 2 sections. Again, I will mention it, we do have this light bar going across that is on some pillars and supported by, I think, the coach splitter in the centre there. So on the left side, as you look at it, I believe we have 10 tables of 4. Again, they all have a white top on the table. There's no lamps or anything in here. And then we come to a splitter. And in there, I think it's 12 tables of 2. So for couples, it's sort of like that. And they have been split half evenly across the coach. And if you look closely enough, yes, you can see some wiring, but when it's in the coach, you can't see the wiring at all. Again, these tables do have white tops and the chairs are brown. So that's them on the tracks, still with the shelves off. I just want to show the lighting off without the bodies. So let me turn the lights off and show off the lighting effect. Just turning the lighting on now. And obviously, yeah, it is bright without the shell. Just thought I'd show it so you can see it all illuminated in the darkness. Not too sure if this has got capacitors or not. So they've been on a minute or two, so I'll turn them off and see if they've got a little bit of a stay alive like the coronation coaches. So it's off now. Turn the controller off. There we go. And as you can see from this, they are still staying on and they go down very slowly, which is quite good actually. They have now been on roughly 10 minutes since I cut the power and they're just on now. You can just see it on the camera, they're just on. So you know I've got the body offs. If you look inside the body, we do have the glazing and it's a flush glazing bar by the looks of it in both. There's no other details, there might be the odd dent in the roof where a vent is on top, but that's about it. So here we have the buttery car, the pub basically. That's the shell for that one. And then now we come on to the restaurant, or where the tables are for the restaurant. Again, they look very much the same, but at least we've got glazing. Now it's time to do an aerial view on these two coaches. As you can tell, there is some differences on the roofing of the coaches, and I'll try my best to talk you through these now. Like I said before, I am no expert. So let's start with the restaurant car. So the restaurant car itself, at one end where the NEM pocket is, does have some extra wires at the top, a bit like the Pullen design on their roofs. We have a grey box, we have some other, I think they're vents or something there. I think we have some stuff for the lighting. We also have some rain ducts and some places I think to put named coaches on, so like the name of the express basically. And then we've got the corridors at either end. If we move over now to the Tavern one, I can sort of make it out. So we don't have any extra handrails on top, but what we do have is the rain ducts and the slots for the boards for the name of the train or the express or destinations. They are there. We have in the pub section, we have the 3 or 4 dots which I believe are lighting. We have a few more vents in the kitchen area, and then we have a silver square, and that's it. Again, I do think where the extra vents are, that is the kitchen area. Again, they are both in grey, as you can see. Now on to the underneath look at the coaches. These are what they have the same of, so they both have axle pickups for the light system on all 4 wheels by the looks of it. At both ends of the coaches where the couplings are, or the magnetic ones, they are both, I think it's kinematics in a V shape. They both have that. They both have the same wheels and bogies. Like I said, on one of mine, the bogies are different because a bit fat off. And I think the supports for the coach, even though they are separate piece, they are a bit delicate, a bit flimsy. They are the same as well. We do have the brake shoes lining up with the wheels and the brake rigging you can see from the underneath, which is great. I do like that. On the restaurant car, like I said, we have some sort of generator. We have 2 or 3 electrical boxes. We have some other equipment under here, a cylinder and a half moon thing. I don't know what they are, I do apologise. And we also have some separately applied piping, which looks to be a metal piece that runs the whole length of the coach. Again, all of the underneath is in black. And if you look close enough, you can see a few footboards. Now we come on to the Tavern car. And for me, this again is the most interesting car out the two, especially on the underneath. On the underneath, what is different is basically we have three cylinders, and then we have a massive one. We also have the same bracing, which again is a bit flimsy. When you touch it, it bends. We have, I think, 4 electrical boxes. We have some sort of generator. I'm not sure if it's for electric or for the brakes. And then we have small boxes dotted around too. We also have some separately applied piping. We have this half moon thing in the centre, again, same on the restaurant car. That's the only differences. All the rest are the same bogies, the same wheels, everything. The coupling design is all the same. So first off, I'd like to apologise about the length of the detail section. There's just so much detail with these two coaches. So next up is a coupling test. I'm hoping the magnetic coupling will work from a distance, and also the two at the end, which are Hornby Railroad Mark 1, so they've got a big D. Hopefully they will couple up fine. Then after that, they should be a points test and a running session. So here goes. Yeah, you heard them click. I think they're all done. Let's find out. Yeah, no issues. Next up, like I said, will be a coupling will be points test. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to test the rolling stock on the points to see if they are any good. We're only concentrating on the 2 Hornby Tavern coaches. If anything else falls off, they fall off. So here it goes. One through, 2 through. Absolutely no issues there at all. And backwards. Again, 1 through, 2 through, and them coaches are quite close together. All made it through. So yeah guys, that's the end of the running session and the review. Before I give my opinion, I want to apologise about the length of the detail part. There was just so much detail with these coaches, it was unbelievable. So I do apologise about the length of that. I'm also going to apologise about the loco that was pulling the train. So the loco that was pulling the train was a Rapido UK Trains, South Eastern Chatham 01. I don't have many southern locos with a BR livery on, so I do apologise about that. Normally it would be a Merchant Navy or Battle of Britain, I believe, or even S15 or N15, so I've read, even a Lord Nelson. So I do apologise about the locomotive and the length of the detail part. So now we come on to price before opinion. I got mine from Kerno Model Shop, and on their website it says £126 for both because it's a twin pack, but I paid £119 because I had some points that I didn't know about and I used them up. But again, even at the £126 is a great price. If you to get these direct from Hornby themselves, it is a little bit more, but not much. So you are talking £140 at the time of recording. But for the amount of detail and features you get, it is a fantastic price, even at that. I think it works out about, £75, £80 per coach because they are a twin pack. Currently, Hornby have 3 different liveries or variants for sale. So we have another Blood and Custard, but the restaurant car has big windows and the Tavern car doesn't have any brickwork on, and it was the brickwork that I like. And that set is at a sign of the 3 plovers, if I've said that correct. And they also do a BR Malachite Green set with the big windows, which is called Jolly Tar. I only have 2 issues really. One, I think they should have had a magnetic roof, because trying to get in the shells was a ball ache. You've got 3 clips either side of the shell or chassis, and I did have trouble getting them off. And you have to try not to break some of the details. So if you want to put passengers in it later on, you have to be careful of the detail. Like you saw in my detail section, one of the electric shoes, I think they are, did instantly pop off. I hardly touched it and just popped off. That might go back on, it might not. I've got to be honest, these locos or rolling stock today isn't made for people that have health issues or heavy-handed. So a magnetic roof would have been better in my opinion. And the other question I have is the lights. So we have the lights on analog and they stay on for a hell of a time. I think it's about 15 minutes in total. And I did it on speed 8 on the video just because it was so long. If we can do that with coaches, why can't we do it with locos on analog? It's just a question. But for me, yeah, these coaches are fantastic. There's lots of detail. Depending on the version you get, you can see more than some versions. But at least Hornby have tooled up for different versions of these coaches, which is great. And they've also hinted at other regions. And I do like my restaurant cars and full brakes. So these restaurant cars and the pub, the Tavern, was a must for me. Even though they are southern, they were a must. Again, like I said, at £75, £80 per coach isn't bad, saying some manufacturers do a coach at £100 with no lights. Like I said, a lot of love, care and attention and detail has gone into these coaches. Hornby should be proud of them. They are a great addition to anyone's BR stock. So this was my review on the Hornby Tavern car set. Hope you enjoyed the review. Please take care and goodbye.